Hello, welcome back to the Lingualoom. Today we're going to discuss bare face structure and face theory. Here's the question that sounds simple. When you say the cat saw a bird, how did that sentence get built? Now, what it means, how to pronounce it, and how do human mind assemble it piece by piece before every word leaves the mouth. For decades, linguists have been following the framework of X-bar theory. It gives a face structure, architecture that you have to follow, highest projection, then middle projection, then the minimal projection. Neat and clean, organized, but all that changed when bare face structure was introduced. What replaced it was called bare face structure, and what came after it in 2001 was phase theory. Together they refined the human syntax architecture. This is what we are covering today. So these are the keywords that from where the data has been taken. You can even check them if you want to read them. Let's go to background. The problem why BPS, that is bare face structure, was built. To understand why BPS exists, you need to understand what it was reacting against. It was export theory, developed in 1970s by Chomsky, refined by Ray Jackendorf, proposed that every single phase in human language follow the three-level template. You have a head, then a word that gives the phrase its identity, then the middle level projection, that is X bar, and then the maximal projection, that is a phase, full phase. So this is it. This is the difference. That is X node, that is simple head, then X bar, then XB. We have discussed in our X theory videos, X bar theory videos. You can check it from there. And in bare face structure, there is no fixed template. Structure emerges from operation, then structure built top down, here structure bottom up, emerges through merge. Requires specifier head complement, but in bare face, minimal and maximals are defined relationally, not by levels. Then these are the other comparisons. This is the word quote by Chomsky. There are no such entities as X is maximal or X minimal in the structures formed by computational human language, though I continue to use the informal notations for expository purposes. The minimal program itself was motivated by a broader question: can the architecture of human grammar be derived from simple, elegant principles that satisfy the interface demand of sound? This is articulatory perceptual system and meaning conceptual intentional system. BPS and phase theory answer to that question. Now let's discuss wave phase structure. PBS is a theory of how phrases are built. It has four properties contrasted directly with export theory. First one is explicitly derivational. Bottom-up structure is assembled piece by piece, starting from individual items. No fixed template like in export theory. The no preconceived phrase structure. In export theory, every phrase structure was required to have specifier, head, complement, and sometimes an adjunct. In BPS, there is no such thing. Phrases have exactly the shape that the derivation produces, nothing more, nothing less. Strictly binary branching. Every merge operation takes exactly two syntactic objects and combines them. No node has more than two daughters. Export theory allowed unary branching. BSP eliminated it and kept the structure simple. No distinction between head and terminal. In export, lexical item like book was a terminal and its projection was a head. In BSP, there is no such thing like that. A lexical item is minimal, it does not project from anything below it and can be maximal if it does not project upward in a given structure. Relational definitions of projection. The most technically important innovation of BPS is replacing level-based labels with relational labels. Minimal projection, that is head, a category that is not a projection of anything, it projects from nothing. This corresponds roughly to the head. Maximal projection XP, that is a phase, a category that does not project further, nothing above it is a projection of the same head. Then intermediate projection X bar, a category that is both a projection of something below and projects further upward. This is Chomsky's informal notion, not a formal object in BPS. So this is the consequence that is written. A single lexical item, say the verb sleep, can be both minimal and maximal. In BPS, it is context dependent. Okay, let's move forward. Merge is one of the most basic feature of BPS. Its algorithm is strictly simple. Take two syntactic objects alpha and beta and merge them to form a new object gamma. Give gamma the label of either alpha or beta, whichever projects. The label of the merged object determines what kind of phase it is. If a verb V projects when merged with its complement DP, the result is labeled as VP. This decision about which element project is governed by feature-driven computation, not by any template. This simply states that there is no fixed template. It depends upon the syntactic objects. External versus internal merge. Take two distinct objects from lexical array. An internal merge movement states take one object already inside from the current subject, build basic phase structure, remerge it as a higher position in movement. In external merge, result is head complement specifier head relationship, and here move alpha under one operation. Example, merge V plus TP to form VP, and in movement, WH movements or subject raising. So why this matter? In earlier minimalism, move and merge were separate operations. BPS unified them. Movement is simply internal merge applying to a already present syntactic object. This is significant economy gain. If you want to watch the video on minimalism, it is already available on our channel. You can watch it. And three diagrams is built for understanding. The first one, the cat saw a bird. First you merge DP under it D. Here there is no node like N bar, and then simply it is just simple structure that you build simply without following a template. Then an bird, then you have to move it to make it a VP. Here you add V under which is saw. So here VP completes. Then the full clause, it is CP. So starting from here, you added DP, DP, then to complete VP, here V, then here it is showing cross, then T tense phrase, here it is the cat saw a bird. In X bar we used to move TP from inside to the specified position of TP, but here it is simple structure, so it is already here. Then movement happens, but we don't show it in this structure. Then CP, here C is null, specified phrase. It is informal, just it is for showing you. Otherwise in BPS notions, it is not actually mentioned. Here it is a simple example to show the difference between X bar theory and bare face structure. VP was here reads books. It is DP, then V bar, here it is V reads, then VP, here will be specified position. Then bare face structure, it is just for VP, V and DP, nothing more. BPS eliminates the forced empty specifier and the intermediate V bar node. It keeps the structure simple. It is complement because it follows a fixed template. Then moving on to phase theory. Phase theory was introduced by Chomsky in his work Derivation by Phrase and elaborated in another work in 2004, Beyond Explanatory Adequacy. The key insight is that the computational system does not build an entire sentence and then send it to the interface all at once. Instead, it works in phrases. Definition: phase. A phase is a syntactic domain that constitutes a complete, self-contained unit for the purpose of spell-out. When the derivation reaches the head of a phrase, the complement of that head is transferred to the PF phonological phrase and LF logical phrase. Components then become inaccessible to further syntactic operation. The two strong phases. Chomsky identifies the exactly two strong phases. VP VP light verb phrase and CP complementizer phrase. VP is headed by V and CP is headed by C. Represents a complete thematic domain, all theta roles. CP represents a complete propositional domain. Then external arguments merge in spec and VP. Here incorporates the left periphery. Applies only to transitive verbs, not passive. When CP is complete, its complement is transferred to interfaces, and VP is spell out of the complement of V makes a VP interior frozen, and in CP governs long distance dependency, WH movement, focus and topic. Why these three? Chomsky rationalizes is that VP is a complete thematic complex and CP is a complete clausal complex including the specification of force. Both are propositional units at distinct level of semantic completion. Here it is shown for better understanding how cyclic spell out works. First lexical array, then build VP by merge, then phrase, VP phrase, then build TP, then CP, then CP phrase. It is complete. What spell out means? The complement of the phrase is transferred to the phonological component PF for pronunciation and to the semantic component LF for interpretation. Once transferred, that material is frozen. It cannot participate in further syntactic operation that is computational efficiency gain phase theory provides. Now moving onward to phase impenetrability condition, PIC in short. It is a formal constraint that regulates what happens once a phrase is completed. Chomsky said in a phrase A with head H, the domain of head is not accessible to operation outside alpha, only head and its edges are accessible. In plain language, it means that once a complement of phrases is transferred, the only material that is accessible to the next phrase is head. For example, C head in CP and V head in VP, the edges, that is specifier and adjuncts. Now what happens if a constituent inside VP needs to move to CP? It cannot do in a single step. Once VP is complete, it must move to the edge VP, in which it becomes accessible, then move further to the C domain. This produces successive cyclic movement. For example, look at this diagram. It simply means that here VP structure is complete, then TP attached over it, this structure fully is complete, then above it is CP. Now this has become frozen, it is locked, you cannot do movements from here. Only C here is accessible. This is a frozen structure, you cannot move anything from here now. You can do changes here as it is open, it is not frozen. Phrase trees. Now let's see with the help of an example, what did she buy? This sentence here, what is required to be moved? Here it is the simple base structure, she buy what? From here buy needs to move to the Spec position. This is the clear example. First, what is originated here inside VP, then it moves to here, she what by. Then it moves from here to its final position, that is spec CP position. Did what did she buy? Now, according to PIC, here two moments happen, starting from here, then moving to here, then this final position. Then movement. Why cyclic spell out? In Chomsky 1995 model, the entire syntactic structure was assembled first, then sent to the interfaces in one go. But by 2001, Chomsky argues that this computationally is inefficient. Cyclic spellout solve it. Memory economy. Every phrase's complement is dispatched to the interface as soon as the phrase head is merged. The narrow syntax does not need to keep the entire sentence in working memory. Locality of operation. The PIC ensures the syntactic operations are always local. They cannot skip over a phase boundary. This correct predicts island and extraction constraint that earlier theories handed to the stipulated condition. Interface legibility. Spellout sent material to PF and ALAF where the derivation is still ongoing. This ensures that each chunk sent to the interface is independently interpretable, a requirement of the minimalist program. Now this states is the movement should be simple. It should not be like in XBAR theory, which is quite tricky. What is not a phrase? Not all VP projections are phrases. In Chomsky's original formulation, only VP, the light phrase, verb phrase with the transitive or experiencer verb, is a phrase. Passive construction and unaccusative verbs do not constitute VP phrases. This is the point of ongoing debate in the literature. Then moving onward to phrase XBAR theory versus BPS plus phase theory. This is the difference between both of them for general understanding. Top-down template in XBAR, bottom-up template in BPS. Then bar levels X, that is head, then X bar, then XB. No X bar as formal object, just minimal and maximal only in BPS. Specifier requirements obligatory, but in BPS it is not obligatory. Branching, binary, and unary, strictly binary only. The movement separate operation move alpha. Internal merge in BPS, D structure or X structure present as level of representation. Then BPS eliminated it, represented by single derivation plus spellout. Spellout once at the end of derivation, and here in BPS it is cyclic. Locality is stipulated constraint, and in here derived from PIC. These are the primary sources from where data is collected. Summary. Well, the bare phase structure, that is BPS, and phase theory, they form the structural and derivational core of Chomsky's minimalist program from 1995 onward. It tells us how phrases are built, and phase theory tells us how and when the build structure is dispatched to sound and meaning. It is shown here from with the help of a flowchart. Lexical array, then merge VP, phrase complete, here PF and LF, then merge continues to build because to build TP and CP, then it is frozen, it is locked here, then CP completes, and this forms the full BPS and phase theory structure. Here it is the key takeaways, that is BPS remove the export template, then merge is only the structure building operation, then syntax work in phrases CP and VP, no need for extra complicated phases. Then PIC makes locality non-stipulative, movement must be successive cyclic. Then the goal is biological plausibility. It means that language should be optimal solution to the problem of mapping sounds to meaning. And with BPS and phase theory, syntax is almost perfectly elegant. Now this is an elegant structure. We have traveled from phase structure rules to standard theory, then through government and binding, that is GB, to principles and parameters, that is PNP, all the way to minimalist program. And now it is a refined expression, that is bare phase structure and phase theory, that keeps the structure simple and elegant without any complications. This is a long journey, and syntax is not an easy material. It takes step by step to understand it. It is a thinking about how the human language works. It is not just a system of habits but a biological facility, a faculty with elegant and computational architecture. So this is it for today. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to keep untangling language together. That's it for today. Thank you. Have a good day.